This video is going to show you how to use HBA and partially my review of the Airsoft microgun or minigun M132 microgun from e-Vike. So, I wanted to make this video because I saw that the gun was sold out, and the first time that I got this gun, it was so confusing on the tubing because in the video that it shows this little wire right here. Don't be fooled by the zip ties. The zip ties are just to hold it in place so it doesn't get snapped out. But they just showed this regular tube here, right, connecting in. But when you buy it, you know that's not the case. When you buy it, and I've seen this in Dude Perfect and all this. If you really look closely, they never take out the joint. And that's because they kind of just unscrew this, and then they kind of, I don't know, they unscrew this part right here, and then I think they press that valve and they release that. But if you're gonna be using this gun, and there's still that joint right there that you know there is, if you're running around with that, this is going to break off, and that little valve right there, that black one, that's gonna snap, and you can't use your gun after that. You're gonna start leaking. You're gonna lose HBA, PSI, really fast. Depending on your compressor, regulator, you're gonna start losing a lot of PSI, and again, you won't be able to use this until you get another piece. And that's what happened to me, because I was looking up videos on how to use this thing, like how to do all that. But what ended up happening was one guy said just to yank this out. Do not do that. That is what you don't want to do. What you are gonna do before you yank it out is you're gonna press down on this little valve right here. Now you don't want to press down like the front or something. You are going to unscrew these 4 bolts, okay? Right? These 2 bolts here, and these 2 bolts here. Now, you bolted these in the beginning, if you have bought this gun. You're going to take that same Allen wrench, and you are going to unscrew these. Once this is away, this compressor valve right here, the silver thing, is going to be alone with the tubing. So what you're going to do is you're going to press the majority of the tubing, try on all sides, get your fingers on pretty much every corner that you can on that black tube. Press this down as hard as you can, and then you're going to pull on the tube, okay? I can demonstrate that with this right here, okay? If I can set up my camera. Okay. Set upwards. Okay, that's good. So you're gonna get as much finger as you can in there. Oh, come on. You're gonna press this down, right? And you should just be able to push this off once you've pushed this in, okay? It's gonna look like this. This is what's gonna look like on the other side, right? Inside there, that's what's gonna look like. You're just gonna see that little valve without the tube, okay? And then once you just unhook that, right? Okay. Let me restate that. Once you unhook that, focus. Okay, there we go. Once you take out this joint, and that little tube right there from that compressor, you're gonna have, again, that joint thing we were talking about. You're just gonna have that joint, and you're gonna have that compressor by itself. Where was it? Okay. You're going to take this joint out, and you're just gonna have this inside there. So Now, if you really think you have the strength, you can try and press down on that tube, that little compression valve right there, and release it. I've already tried. I don't think it works. I think they just glued that compression valve there after they put it in. So what I did is I just cut. So there's a certain amount of tube inside there, right? There's a certain amount of tube inside there. I cut it right. So like, for instance, let me give you an example. Say this is the joint piece, right? I just cut right there, right here, right at that fitting, because this little valve right here, I believe, was glued in. I couldn't really touch it. So I cut that piece, okay? Remember, this is the joint valve, okay? This is going to be that joint valve you see. Oh, damn. Okay. That joint valve, right? You're going to cut it at that joint valve. Then, where was it? Right. So that joint valve, you're going to do the same thing for that, because I couldn't press that down either. You see that little screw right there? You're also going to take a wrench and you're going to unscrew that. Once you have the majority of this tube, you're going to plug it back. You're going to plug it back into this. So once you cut those tubes like I was telling you, you're going to end up with this tube right here, without this on it, and without it being in here. So what you're going to do is you're going to take, and you may be saying like, oh, but what if the tube is, like, it needs to be like a certain degree of like straightness or something, I don't know. It doesn't. You can cut it pretty evenly, as long as you cut it pretty evenly, so like not like this or like this. As long as you cut it fairly evenly, it should be able to fit in there just like any of the tube would. You just plug it right in there. It should have a snug fit. You know, if you really want to make sure, give it a few tugs, and if it comes out really easily, you didn't push it in right. So you're gonna push it in all the way, make sure it's snug, and then you're going to, if you already have this, which you probably already do, this right here. One moment, let me just take this out. Okay. This piece comes with the minigun, but if you buy the line that I did, that was recommended for it, it should already come with this. So you probably don't really need this. You can keep it, I don't know, for whatever reason you want to, just in case like that gets lost or something. But other than that, that tubing right there, you just plug that straight in. That connects to this and to your HBA tank. And you fill this up with, like, I don't know, your scuba diving tank or airsoft field, paintball, whatever. Whatever place fills up to about 3,000 to, depending on your tank, it should be like 3,000 or like 4,500. This one's 3,000 psi. That's pounds per square inch if you're a noob of HBA. That's a lot of air pressure. For reference, if you're really, really new to HBA, a tire or like a what would it be? Like a car tire, it's around like 80-ish psi. This is 3,000 psi. Like, you know how firm how firm the air in a car is. So that's a little scary, that 3,000 psi in this metal tank. Whatever, that was dumb, right? So, again, review. You're going to pull on this clamp, you're going to take those joint pieces out we were talking about, and then you're going to, the majority of the line, you're going to cut at its tubes, at its joints, okay? At those joints. You're going to cut them at the joints, then you're going to plug that tube back in here, and then you're going to plug that tube right in there. And it's going to give you a really flexible majority of the tube. And then so it doesn't break or anything like that. You can put zip ties, which is I've done, and give it a little bit of bling or whatever. It's up to you. But I suggest putting some sort of sturdy way. or I mean, you don't have to, but it's less likely of a chance. It just keeps them nice and snug, and these are I really like these colors combinations. So I mean, you could put like green and black for camouflage or something. It's up to you, just to keep it nice and snug in place. And then this again will hook up to. Let me demonstrate. If you haven't run HPA, I know you're sitting on the ground. Just that'll plug into there. This will then plug into here. I'm using my two hands for this. That will then plug into the. That will then plug in. This you'll probably put in your backpack, like I do. I put it up in that backpack. You put this in the back pocket, depending on which dominant you are. I put it on my right because I'm right-handed. If you're left-handed, you put it on your left. Get the most line. This will then run down to your minigun, and then boom. That's all you gotta do. It's a little bit of a DIY process, but hopefully I helped somebody, because I don't want anybody ending up like me, how I first got my minigun. So, just like if this was helpful. Yeah.